Most e-commerce brands don't have a campaign strategy, they have campaign chaos. As a former billion-dollar VP of retention, now generating over $500 million for over 160 plus brands, I'm going to teach you how to build a campaign calendar that's profitable, replicable, and scalable for your business right away. Let's be honest, for most brands, every month is like, what should we send today? Should we send another sale? Should we send another email? Should we blast our list? Maybe send more emails, maybe send more SMS. And the craziest part, the more campaigns brands send, the more unpredictable your revenue becomes every month. Because sending more emails is not a campaign strategy. That's the definition of insanity, sending more emails if your campaigns are broken in the first place. In this video, I'm going to teach you the exact campaign planning framework that the top 1% brands use to create monthly predictable revenue without oversending, overspending, or overworking. I'll break down why most campaign calendars fail, the hidden mistake destroying your list with every campaign you send, how top brands use customer demand data to actually predict their campaigns, and the exact system to build campaigns that are replicable for your brand every single month. If you're tired of winging your campaign calendar every month and want to create profitable, replicable, and scalable revenue streams for your business every month, this video is for you. Let's get started. Hey, thanks for watching. I'm Hyman, and today we're talking all about email campaign planning mastery, how the smartest e-commerce brands in the world actually engineer predictable monthly revenue from every single one of their campaigns without overspending or oversending. Let's get started. Let's be honest, you're probably one bad campaign month away from total panic. Most brands are honestly winging their campaigns, and that leads to wild swings in revenue, unpredictable revenue streams, right? Your marketing team is in chaos. There's last minute scrambling. No one knows what's going on. Not sure which campaigns to send. We're not sure what's going to work. And that happens every single month. Yet every single month you try to send more, right? You're convinced to send 4 campaigns a month, then 5 campaigns, and 6 campaigns because your original campaigns didn't even work. So instead of sending the right campaigns and ones that actually worked, you're just sending more noise, more inbox decoration, more people tuning you out. And that campaign fatigue actually is destroying your retention. Customers are unsubscribing. They're leaving your list. They don't want to hear from you anymore because you're talking at them, trying to make some money. And that's leading to a terrible, terrible email program for your business. Forget about deliverability. It's probably tanking as well. Campaign fatigue destroys your retention, and there's got to be a better way. And this is it. I'm going to teach you the campaign strategy that every e-commerce brand needs right now. Why the top brands sometimes send fewer campaigns and make more money. How to identify next month's winning campaigns before the month even starts, why more emails actually destroy your ROI and don't make you any profits. You just end up paying it to Klaviyo. I'm going to share with you the exact framework used to fill campaign calendars strategically, not just thinking about like, oh, what are my competitors sending? Or what do I think is nice to send and not making any, and it doesn't make any money. We got to use strategy to plan our campaign calendar. How the elite brands, the top 1% of brands, the 9 and 10 figure brands use historical demand to predict future revenue of every single one of their campaigns, and how to create campaigns that customers actually want to receive, not ones that are just talking at them and kind of distracting them, and things that are just kind of not really personalized to where they are currently in their life and what they're trying to achieve with your products or with your brand. A little bit about me. I'm Hyman. I'm an ex-VP of retention, speaker, author, and agency founder. I've generated over $500 million for retailers and DTC brands, sent over 3 billion emails for over 160 brands out there, award winner for best email performance, authored the book on it, created the Masterclass, featured speaker at eTail Blue Core Post Funnel Summit, and I've been on your side of the table. I've had to plan campaign calendars from scratch, and trust me, I used to send anywhere from 7 to 10 campaigns a week, and I realized there's a better way. I just ended up burning myself out, burning my list out. I made money maybe in the first year, when in reality it wasn't profitable at all, just top line revenue. The second year, tanked. Revenue all gone because my list was burned. They're burned out. I was burned out. And that's just not the way to do it. I'm going to teach you how to send better campaigns, not the most campaigns, because that's going to help you as a business grow more profitably. And that's why we trust over 160 brands, retailers, e-tailers, dropshipping brands out there to run their entire email SMS retention strategy, specifically their campaigns that are acting as major traffic generators, right? If you think about it, which we'll talk about in a second, campaigns aren't just there to sell, they're there to drive traffic. And the better traffic you drive, the more flows will follow up, the more your customers will feel personalized and connected to your brand. Because we have a mission. We're all about building better customer relationships with your list, and campaigns are a major part of that. If you do it right, you'll have customers for life. They'll open up every one of your emails, click every single one, convert at a high level. But if you're just sending campaigns without focusing on the person behind the inbox, you're gonna burn your list. It's gonna be gone really quick. So I'm gonna teach you how not to do that, how to plan the right campaigns like the top brands are doing. Now, when your email revenue is unpredictable, it's usually a huge campaign planning problem because campaigns does not exactly equal strategy. Most brands rely on randomness, sending out ideas and concepts that they think are nice, reacting to what customers are doing, reacting to what their competitors are doing, trying to wing it. They heard about this new idea and let's test it out and see how it goes. It's unpredictable. They're constantly reinventing the wheel. Your generic promotions are failing. They're not really driving anything. It's just one of those nice things to have. that you hear about, right? Campaigns you hear about like us versus them, and let's talk about our new reviews, and all campaigns that really just talk about you and don't really connect to the person and what their pains are and what their needs are. You have one size fits all messaging that don't really resonate with every single subscriber. They're just, you could have a 3-time, 4-time VIP buyer and you're sending them the same message as you would a new subscriber. It's a mismatch, right? One size fits all messaging doesn't really work. You're cannibalizing your flows by sending campaigns constantly, drowning out your flows, which I'll show you an example of that in a second. And you're over emailing your buyers. Many times, customer just bought something. The first 3 days should be the honeymoon period. You should be adopting them into your community, making sure they're retained long-term, getting them to become a massive part of your organization, turn them from one-time to lifetime buyers, but you're just, ignoring all that and drowning their inbox with campaigns, mindless campaigns that are just not the right approach, right? And above all, you don't really realize that your campaigns aren't meant to do anything else except for drive traffic. The money's in the follow-up. Your flows will follow up with the 80-20 of your audience that's actually in the mode of buying right now. The campaigns, they're meant to get traffic to your site, get more qualified people. They don't always sell the products that you're actually featured within your email, which I'll talk about in a second as well. They're just there to drive traffic. And the minute you don't realize that, the worse you'll do. So unpredictable revenue is really a major campaign planning problem, which we're going to stop today. So let's get into the 6 reasons why most campaign calendars fail. Your generic campaign calendars, those nice to have campaigns you're sending, the ones you're kind of looking over your competitor's shoulders that you're trying to copy, those lead to generic results. As you see in this campaign calendar right here, there's so many fake reasons to send a campaign. You don't need that. I'm going to teach you a much more scientific way of planning your campaign calendar. You don't need to send an email for World Post Day or Leif Erikson Day or World Statistics Day or Evaluate Your Life Day. This is actually planned out by another email marketing agency I saw, and I was like, is this the best you got? There's a lot better to do, right? When you think about campaign planning as a strategy and not just as a tactic to send to really clog up the inbox, the better you'll do. So let's dive into this right now. Number 1, sending more emails is a profit-losing strategy. Anyone who tells you to send more campaigns already doesn't have your best interests in mind. And I want to give an example from Grun's right here. Now, I know there's a lot of experts and brands are always glazing Grun's, and I think they do a great job. Their designs are amazing. They look great. Big fans. Always been a big fan of their design, but their strategy needs a little fine tuning. I want to give an example here where I was actually signed up for the list and I was actually browsing something, add something to my cart right here. And you can see in the email right there, you see at the very back of that email on the right, you left this behind, right? So that is my cart abandoned email. That was sent on May 8th. But what I'm circling right here on my screen, if you're watching on the screen on my podcast, but if you look on the screen, you see that sandwiched above that cart abandoned email and below that cart abandoned email are 2 campaigns. One is ditch the supplements and one is you don't need another supplement. So because they're sending so many campaigns, right? And I signed up on the 7th, I got about, I don't know how many that is, 16 emails in 10 days. Because they were drowning my inbox with campaigns, they drowned out the cart abandoned email. Now, a cart abandoned email usually gets anywhere from 50% open rates to about 10 to 15% click rates, and it converts at like a 3 to 5% level. Huge revenue driver for your business. But their campaigns, which probably on average drive maybe 30% opens and maybe 2% clicks, they drowned out the highest converting email I could have gotten because they were sending more campaigns. That's a profit-losing strategy. They lost out on money because they're oversending on their campaigns, drowned out the one email that would have converted me. And they did this multiple times. And they're doing this for millions and millions of subscribers that are coming to their list right now. That is a clear example of that sending more campaigns, sending more emails actually can lose you money. I'm not even talking about the fact that you're going to pay Klaviyo more money. That's also part of it, right? Law of diminishing returns. The more campaigns you send, you're probably paying Klaviyo all those profits you eke out. But that's part number 2, right? So sending more emails, profit-losing strategy based on what you're seeing here from Grun's. Number 2, you think people will buy what you want to sell, and that's a fallacy. Take this example for Portland Leather. Now, I don't know exactly what they made from this email, but they were promoting the Logan crossbody. Now, if you look into your own data, your campaigns that you've sent out, chances are that the campaign you sent featured maybe a product or 2, but reality is, unless you have one SKU or even like a handful of SKUs, chances are they bought one of 100 or 1,000 other SKUs out there because people want to buy what they want. They don't necessarily want to buy what you sell. Okay, so for example, this Portland Leather, if I had gotten this email, the Logan crossbody may have been of interest to me, but maybe some people bought it, maybe 0.5% bought that item. But reality is they're going to end up buying that pink purse, or they're going to buy the wallets, or they're going to be the sandals, right? Because they don't necessarily buy what you're featuring in the email. Remember this line: the path to conversion from your campaigns isn't always linear. an email campaign is a traffic generator. So even though you want to sell the Logan crossbody, people will want to buy whatever they want to buy at the end of the day, right? It's the same with a store. If you drive traffic to your store, they're going to buy whatever they buy, right? And that's why you see that some of the top 1% of brands actually send an email that's very broad and generic. 50% off sale going on now. It's Nordy Week. Check out our anniversary sale, because they know that email campaigns are a traffic generator. The customer will go wherever they want to go, and then the flows will follow up with a more personalized message to them. So the campaigns you're obsessing over, chances are they're not driving sales of that specific product, unless it's a really killer offer, but most of the time you don't have one, right? So the email you're sending that you're obsessing over, that you think is going to hit a home run, chances are they're just buying a whole bunch of random stuff. So that's causing your campaign planning process to fail. You think that this one message will resonate. When it fails, you're back scrambling again. Number 3, you're constantly reinventing the wheel every single month. So I'm going to go back to this calendar that I saw this agency planning for brands out there, and I want to share with you a couple of them. Number 1, they have Global Smoothie Day, and they have Everyone Writes Day, and they have National Checklist Day. Now, unless your brand is tied in specifically to that day, I don't see any reason to use this calendar. It's just kind of like a totally head fake, and you're constantly reinventing it. You don't have a Global Smoothie Day in April or May or January. So if you can't replicate success of your campaigns every single month, at least 80% of them, what's the point of doing it? You're just constantly reinventing the wheel, constantly coming up with new ideas. And then when you send a campaign and it tanks, well, then you're scrambling again, right? You're only as good as your last campaign if you're using a campaign calendar like this. And that's just not the way to go, because then again, like I said, you're scrambling. Instead, what you want to focus on are making sure your campaign calendar is filled with campaigns that are replicable. You can constantly rely on them every single month, and you're running them every single month. Different variations, slightly different iterations. You're testing new things, trying new ways of doing it, but the bones of it are accurate. You want to have that. Unless, again, your brand is really tied into a specific day here, like Alaska Day, and you're based in Alaska, fine, go for it, right? Build a sale around it, build an offer around it, totally. But you can't replicate that every month. And my goal for you is to never reinvent your campaigns every month. I want you to be able to have it consistent and predictable. So that's another reason why your campaigns are failing. The next reason is that you tend to react to your competitors instead of leading them. You ever noticed how you're watching your competitors every single month send a campaign, and then you scramble to your team and say, oh my God, look what they just sent. They just sent your new staples from Gymshark right here. Let's do that. And you try to copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. All month long, you're copying and pasting because you think they're doing better. Chances are your competitors are doing the same as you, if not worse. I know this from my own personal experience. I was a director of retention for a family of 9-figure brands, one of them being a consumer electronics retailer. And I grew them from $47 million to $73 million in email revenue in less than 8 months. We were crushing it. But all the time, everyone in the company used to come over and say, hey, did you see what our biggest competitor was doing? And this is a 10-figure brand. You see what that 10-figure brand was doing? Maybe we should do that. Do you see what they're doing? We should do that. You see what they're doing? Try that. And every single month, I was doing the same as you, scrambling to keep up and seeing, you know what? Maybe they're doing better. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I was doubting myself. But reality is, I was growing this business by 20 million in a year. I thought I was good. Maybe I'm wrong. I was doubting myself. I was following. I was reacting. Turned out, a couple years later, I became VP of retention at that 10-figure electronics retailer. And when I looked into their email program, they were doing way worse than the 9-figure one I came from. They were making $10 million from their email program. I grew them to $29 million in 1 year because I brought the strategy I used at the 9-figure brand to them, and that grew them to the next level. But the point is that I was constantly reacting to my biggest competitor, and I should have been leading them, right? They were doing worse than I was doing. So when I reversed that mindset and said, you know what? I shouldn't be reacting to my competitors. I should be leading them. I should be thinking about what I should be doing for my brand, what I should be doing for my list. That's going to make you feel a lot better. But unfortunately, right now, you're probably reacting to your competitors and following them instead of leading them. And that's what's causing your campaign calendar to fail. The next reason is that your campaigns operate in a silo. Look at this Fenty Beauty, 20% off all refills, good campaign. And most of the time, as the founder, owner, or marketer, you tend to look at email as a way to get your message out fast, quick, and out there. But they're operating in their own separate channel. And that's okay because it's a free channel, right? It's much more profitable than most other channels. But when you're operating as a silo, you're not kind of connected with Facebook or Meta or Google Ads or customer service or SMS or push notifications. So your campaigns are not really organized in a way that's going to help everything rise. A rising tide lifts all ships, as we like to say. And if you're just sending a campaign and saying this would be good for email, your business doesn't grow in general. So campaign planning has to go beyond just what you think it should be, right? It's got to go beyond just the email channel. It should involve all channels. Get everyone looped in and understand what's the best way to execute on that. So your campaign planning, when you're focusing just on the email channel, it's bound to fail because there's so many more touch points. There's so many more channels that your customers live in beyond just email. So that's another reason why you're failing. And then finally, you're selling all the time instead of connecting. Now, I get it. You're a brand that constantly needs to sell. And anyone that tells you you shouldn't offer discounts or you should rely less on discounts, it sounds good, but it's not always the truth, okay? You can't compare yourself to a 9 and 10 figure brand yet. You're not there. Maybe, chances are, if you're listening to this, you're not there. If you're a 6, 7, or 8 figure brand trying to get to the next level, you got to sometimes discount. Those 9 and 10 figure brands that got to the level they're at, trust me when I say this, and I've been there, when they're a 6, 7, or 8 figure brand, they're discounting like anything. Guardian discounting, Grandy Cosmetics, Children's Place, all discounting their items because it works, because customers like discounts. There's no way around it. You want to try and spend 2 years retraining your customers? Have at it. That's not going to make you money right now and pay your bills right now. Eventually, you can start weaning them off. And that is what my campaign calendar will share with you. But right now, understand that selling does drive revenue. But your goal should not be selling all the time. You should be connecting. Most of your campaigns should not be talking at a customer. There are many times we talk about sending, hey, we have some new reviews, or message from our founder, or here's us versus them. Everything all around talking at your customers, talking at your list. But no one wants to have their inbox clogged in with someone bragging all the time and someone saying you're awesome and here's why we should use you and here's why you're amazing and special and delicate flower. We want to hear from brands that connect. We want more personalized campaigns. We want to hear relevant campaigns, right? We want things that are relevant to us, addressing our specific pain points at the right time in our buying cycle. That's what you need to do more of, connecting. And this is a major problem because majority of email marketers are excellent at sending emails to an inbox. They're excellent at sending text messages. They're excellent at reaching phones and hitting inboxes. But the magic behind email is connecting to the person behind the inbox, the person behind the phone, the person behind the device. No one does that. I'm proud to say we're one of the only agencies that specifically focus on building better customer relationships with your list because we know there's a person behind the inbox. Not many people do that. And that's why you're not taking off. And that's where your campaigns are falling flat because you're not focused on connecting the person behind the inbox and building a relationship with them. You're focused on selling them and getting into the inbox and having inbox decoration from your designs. You focus on connecting, you'll do a lot better. And that's what my calendar is going to share with you. For now, you're failing because you're selling all the time. So now that you know the 6 reasons why brands are failing at their campaign planning, let's talk about some of the before and after states I'd like you to get from this video. So before, clearly, you're panicking more. You're blasting out emails more, right? You're not hitting your goals at the beginning of the campaign month, right? You're already kind of scrambling. And once the month gets like the 15th of the month, you're scrambling. Are we even hitting our goals? Oh my God, what's going on? You're talking at your customers more than you actually are personalizing and connecting and listening. You're distracting them more, right? You're sending like Gruins. You're sending more campaigns that drown out the flows that will actually convert. The more personalized sends, you're drowning them out. And you're profiting less because the more campaigns you send, the more you're spending on Klaviyo. So any money you eke out probably goes back to Klaviyo anyway, right? That's not very profitable. Or because you're not making money from your existing campaigns, you got to end the month with a 50% off sale. No profits left at the end of the month. After though, here's where I want you to be. You need to be listening more, reacting more to what customers are doing. That's what your campaigns should be doing. Involving them more, all right? Helping more, personalizing more, segmented more predictable revenue streams. You can replicate every single month without having to scramble and kind of wing it on a take the stairs to work day today. Right? That's not replicable. You can't do that every single month. And at the end of the day, I want you to make a hell of a lot more because these campaigns are resonating. They're getting traffic to their site. They're converting. And those that are not converting right away, they're actually getting the flows to follow up for you. So that's the before and after states. Before, you were panicking, blasting, distracting more, profiting less. After, you're now listening more, personalizing more, studying more, and making a hell of a lot more. Now let's talk about the 6 steps to get the perfect campaign calendar for your brand. This is the exact plan I use at the top 1% of brands for multiple 9, 10 figure brands. Doubled our sales every single month, allowed us to actually build unbreakable relationships with our list and turn those one-time buyers into lifetime buyers in half the time every single time. And this is going to help your brand rethink how to plan a campaign calendar and not just listen to the ideas of saying like, oh, let's do whatever, people tell us to do. Let's do whatever it's nice to send. And you end up having just nice looking emails that don't really convert. I want you to become a student of the game, understand how to unlock the true power of your email program and start making money from your campaigns for a change. And if you don't make money, the flows will follow up because you're getting traffic to the site. Let's dive right in. Step number 1, plan everything around current and year-over-year demand. You got to look at last year's data. Look at what campaigns performed last year. What worked well? Did it do well? What worked well? And what didn't work well? And you find your top winners and you double down on them. The ones that sucked, sunset them. Never run them again, right? Or save it for a test later on. You want to identify what worked for your customers, right? Not just what you want to sell. It shouldn't be that you enter the month saying like, you know what? This month's coming up. I think we can do this and we should try this and let's try this campaign and let's try this thing. And there's a cool new idea I heard about. You can try all that. Don't get me wrong. But if you want to create a predictable revenue stream for your business, focus on the winners. Go back last year. What worked? What day did it work? When did you send it? What was the offer? What was the audience? Find that out. Look at last year's campaign data. You also want to look at what demand looks like right now. There are many times that not many people look at what you did in, let's say, May or June or July last year. You don't know what people are searching for or what they shop for then. Because if you did, what you'll be able to do is say like, you know what? We're seeing a trend line between people searching for new products in June or July. So now we know if they're searching for it last year, if they were searching for it last year, let's build campaigns around it to make sure that we don't only capture that revenue, but we get more people tapping into the trends, right? That's really what you want to do. Great example for our 8-figure client. We were digging into their trend lines for the coming month in May. As we were planning out their campaign calendar, we happened to notice that there was a lot of searches and a lot of demand and a lot of purchases for water filters. And we're wondering, why is that? And we asked the client, oh, I guess people just bought a lot of water filters. And we said, well, maybe there's a trend here. Maybe we need to tap into it. And we looked into it and we surveyed some people and we said, you know what happens? It's the weather's becoming warmer. It's hotter. Gyms are becoming more populated. Everyone's out for summer at the community centers, YMCAs, JCCs, you name it. And a lot of businesses and people were restocking their water filters because they were consuming water a lot more often. That's a trend line. We saw massive demand. So we started basing a lot of campaigns in May around water filters because let's double down on it. If there's a lot of demand for it, let's make sure we capture as much of that demand, as much of that market share as we possibly can for the water filter. And now they're up 80% year over year in May because we tapped into the demand of it. And that's what you want to do. Look at your high AOV winners, identify your seasonal spikes, the trend timing, and build campaigns all around that demand. And if you do that, you should easily be able to get anywhere from 4 to 6 campaigns a month from just doing that alone. You find your winners from last year, you see exactly what people are shopping in the coming month, and you base your campaigns around that because you know the demand is there. Demand is a super important thing. So revolve everything you do around your current and year-over-year demand. That's step number 1. Step number 2, add in your big email SMS retention projects. There are many times you have some big goals that you never get a chance to do because you're stuck in the weeds on a campaign mindset. And it's so important to break free from that mindset. In order to do that, you need to get a 12-month roadmap that says every month we're working on a big email SMS and retention project. And it could be, let's add in a new vendor for some sort of new technology, or let's A/B test this flow, or let's add a new offer for our campaigns, in general. A big project means that you're focusing on growing your entire ecosystem, not just the month. And this project you're building right now will help you in perpetuity, right? And that's where you want to go. And that will allow you to say, instead of just being focused on the campaigns of the month, we're focused on the entire health of the email program, right? If our campaigns rise this month, great. But if our flows rise too, that's great. And if we can get a pop-up, which is a project we're working on this month, for example, that helps everything on top of it all, right? So you want to make sure that you're adding in your projects to your campaign calendar as well. Great example, I use this a lot where we talk about EOS, that's an Entrepreneur Operating System. They have a great example of this where they use an example of rocks, right? You have big projects that they call rocks. You have kind of like daily and monthly tasks they call pebbles. Then they have daily actions, comparing it to sand. And then you have like meetings and, talking to teammates and customer service on little small things like water, like emails that come into your inbox like water. So they notice if you put in the rock into a jar first, you get to fill in everything around that rock. And it fits a lot better, right? You put the rock in first, your big project, then you put in the pebbles, which are like your daily and monthly tasks. Then you put in the sand on top of that, which is like your daily actions, like designing an email, writing an email, things like that. And then you put in the water, which are like the meetings, the emails you get every single day. And it all fits really well because you surrounded the rock with all those little tiny things. But if you do it the reverse and you focus just on this daily campaign minutia, writing an email, sending it, designing it, answering a message, listening to your boss say, hey, let's scramble and send this email. You never get to the big projects. So every month, you're just focused on campaigns and campaigns and campaigns. Put the big project in first onto your campaign calendar. You'll accomplish a lot more for your overall email program. The overall health of your program will be a lot better. So that's why I use an example for this. Google EOS rocks, and you'll actually see a better visual of it. So when you do this, when you put in your projects first, I would aim to set 1 or 2 goals a month. Big projects, right? So for example, if you have a project and you say, I want to test a new pop-up vendor and see if we can get more signups to our list, great. Make sure that month is dedicated to testing, onboarding, implementing that new pop-up vendor. If you want to turn on more flows and expand your flow library, make that one of your 1 or 2 goals a month. So make sure to add that to your campaign calendar. It goes a little bit beyond campaigns, but it's so important. It's so important for planning in general. So that's number 2. Number 3, you want to double down on last year's winners. Okay, this is a really quick, easy hack, right? Remember we said, study your last year campaigns, what worked, notice the trends, what did you see worked, sunset the losers. You don't need to redo it again. It may seem nice to redo it, but you don't need to. Instead, double down the winners from last year. So you see right here, Memorial Day sale. There's a Grunes, yes, it actually works email up to 52% off. Double down on it. If last year you sent 1 Labor Day email or 2, make it 4, right? If you know it works, double down on it. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to scramble and say, what do we send today, when you can send something that you know worked? It's been proven. Expand it. Amplify it. Focus on the winners, but enhance them. Make some small incremental tests to get some incremental gains, right? Instead of sending an email at 9 a.m., why don't you send it with smart send time optimization? Ways of getting some incrementality from every email. Amplify your winners and then multiply them across channels. Now you can use them in SMS or send them over to your paid ads team. This really crushed our email list, right? Let's run it on our ads, right? So these are ways to multiply for more channels. And when you double down on last year's winners, you'll find another 2-3 campaigns a month to add to your calendar. So now you have 4 campaigns by doing your homework from last year. You've now doubled down last year's winners. That brings you to about 7 campaigns a month. And you have a project to help your overall email program. That's another one, right? You have another big project to focus on. So that's about anywhere from 7 to 8 campaign projects this month on your calendar. Perfect. That's step number 3. Step number 4, add in personalized campaigns anywhere from 2 to 3 times a month. You need to understand that relevance is a lot better than volume. It's better to send fewer emails that are great than more emails that are good. Really important differentiator there. More emails do not equal more revenue necessarily. Better relevance does though. So the more relevant your emails get, the better you'll do. Great examples from Aloe, Yoga, Twillery, Portland Leather, right? You can see that the emails you're sending are going to be a lot more personalized to where I am in my buying journey. So if I'm viewing items throughout the month, if I have items in my cart, if I have items that I may also like, send an email all around that. The design time is minimal. It's relatively easier to send than designing a gorgeous email from top to bottom talking about a product that I'm simply not interested in. It happens all the time. It's a gorgeous email, just inbox decoration, whereas a personalized campaign can convert me a lot higher. And there's endless ways of skinning this. You can call it top picks for you, best of the month, weekend picks we think you'll love, found for you, your points doubled, your faves are back, right? There's so many ways to add in more personalized campaigns to your calendar. And when you add it, I'm not saying the whole calendar should be based around personalized campaigns, but I'm saying that in general, if you add 2 or 3 times a month, you build a lot more trust. You're not just talking at your customers anymore. Now you're listening, reacting, helping, personalizing, and really finally connected to your subscribers. So add in 2 to 3 times a month. That should bring you to anywhere from 9 to 10 campaigns a month. Already, you could see, just from this alone, your campaign calendar is being filled up. It's becoming a lot more personalized, a lot more human, a lot more connected, and it drives a lot of clicks, engagement, and conversions. Step number 5, you want to layer in evergreen emails that can be replicated every single month, right? So now your campaign calendar is relatively starting to fill up, about 10 campaigns a month. Now you want to add in evergreen emails. Now, what do I mean by evergreen? As you know, an evergreen tree is always green. So these are the campaigns that can always be added in a pinch, and they'll relatively always work, right? They're always something that you have. Sometimes products are out of stock. Sometimes inventory is low. Sometimes you don't have an offer on a product. But these campaigns are always going to make money. They're always going to work. Great example, I have a brand that first of the month, every single month, they send a 1-day sale in the first of the month. And they know that they could do this every single month, and it works. They have 1 million SKUs. So one-day sale, they call it, it's really just a one-day sale. They can call it whatever they want. They could say July one-day sale, VIP one-day sale, lighting one-day sale. They can do whatever they want with that. But every month, like clockwork, they send it on the first of the month. Customers are trained. They're ready for it. Now, why do they do that? They want to move inventory. They want to hit a home run at the beginning of the month. That's why they do it. And that's why every single month we start up 80% revenue gains. So it's a good place to start. But every month they can do this all the time. That's an evergreen email to them. We have another client that has free gifts. Every single month there's a new gift to be added to their purchase, right? And it's like a surprise gift. It's a mystery gift. You don't know what you're going to get, right? So you got to click through the email to find out. And every month, at like the third of the month, they're sending out a free gifts message. That's an evergreen email. And it drives a massive amount of conversions from that email because it's constantly happening. Customers are trained to look for it, and it's great. It's a good offer for them. But you have a lot of evergreen emails. They're fail-safe backups. I'm not saying revolve your calendar all around it, but if you want to continue to fill your calendar with a much more personalized and connected approach, these are the ones to do it. Amazon, how about another look? Every month, they send an email to me saying like, hey, we found these for you, right? Similar to the personalized ones, but I know I can rely on this because they say it's about May bestsellers, May picks for you, June picks for you, things like that. Founder-led campaigns are great. You see the solo right here, Founders Favorites. Here's what we found. Shop Zoe's picks, Shop Patrick's picks, right? And they could change every single month. Rewards reminders every month. Tell your customers, hey, by the way, just a friendly reminder, you have rewards. Every month you keep doing the same thing until you automate it. That's a whole separate strategy. Replicable content like Fiverr. Every month there's new vendors and people to find in photography, illustration, new things new freelancers to hire. Every month you send this campaign, there's always something fresh in there. One-day sales, offers, bonus, replicable content, right? Another example of content, gift guides, monthly buying guides, things like that people continue to come back to. You can replicate it. And the good thing is that because they're happening every single month, you can test, iterate, and refine every single month. My goal for you, add in 2 campaigns that are evergreen every single month. That'll bring you to about anywhere from 10 campaigns to 12 campaigns a month. A pretty solid calendar already. And finally, step number 6. You want to assess the profitability of adding more campaigns. If you're not good enough with 10 to 12 campaigns a month, you got a bigger problem. And step number 6, assess the profitability of adding more campaigns. If you need to add more than 12 campaigns a month, you need to really look into it and decide, is that more profitable for me or not? There's a law of diminishing returns, right? Is it really additive to add more campaigns? If you need to really rack your brain to think about adding more stuff, yeah, okay, only then do you start saying, you know what, let me go ask chat or look online and find a National Day calendar of 365 reasons to celebrate every day and find one of these cheesy campaigns. I'm not a fan of these, right? Because many brands focus everything they do around these special days when it really is a backup. That's all they are. Like I said before, more campaigns kill your flows, right? And you want to focus on better campaigns, not more campaigns. So you really need to make sure these are additive, or are you just creating noise? Does sending up declutter your room day helpful to you? Do you have a business all based around that? If it's all based around that, that should be in step number 1, which are the campaigns that you've seen success with because you ran it last year. You must have, right? So if you see success for it, great, you're running it. But if not, and you're adding it just to kind of be in the inbox, or you saw your competitor running it, assess whether that's worth it. That's really what it is. Don't want to create noise in the inbox, right? You don't want inbox decoration. You just lose trust because I showed with you step 1 to 5, you're building that trust. This last step may break it, right? So you don't want to do that. But if you must, add 1 or 2 campaigns a month for these extra campaigns. Find a day that matters to you. Find a day you think resonates. Add it. Test it. See if it works. So now you know 6 reasons why brands fail at planning a campaign calendar and the 6 steps you need to take to actually create a high-performing campaign calendar. Let's assemble the calendar. I'm going to use this brand right here. It's a watch brand, how we created their campaign calendar for August, and then we'll look back about what their performance was like in general over the past 90 days or so using the campaign calendar like this. So let's go through the calendar. You can see each portion is shaded a little bit differently. So you see right here, we start August with New for August. Again, this is one of our evergreen campaigns. You could send it out anytime. You have New for August. You could do New for July, New for May. It doesn't have to be new items either. It could be, here's what we found new for you. Did you know we have this? New for you. We picked these for you, right? New arrivals we think you'll love. That's on the first, kind of get people trained to look at something new for the new month. Then on the 4th, we have CEO picks, letter format, kind of like that founder-led email, another evergreen email. CEO picks, hear from our CEO what they think is great. why they love this product. They're the expert, right? Send an email regarding that on the 4th. We then followed up on the 7th, on Thursday, with the featured collection. Looking back at the data from last year, we saw that a featured collection on this brand specifically was perfect, because this brand was perfect for the end of summer, starting the school year, work week, back to work at the end of the summer. Feature collection was a great one. We doubled down on that. This time we're testing a little bit more different graphics, different layout, different send timing, right? So we know it worked. We can double down on it. Now, as you see on the 9th, 16th, and 23rd, these are our roadmap projects. As I said in step number 2, we bookmarked a place to actually grow the email ecosystem as a whole. So you want to focus on different flows like the search abandon, subscription flow, and back and stock flow every single Saturday of that month. Because when we put in these big projects, this will help our business in perpetuity. So we add in these flows into their calendar, and now they'll run forever. But we want to bookmark it in our calendar, make sure we have enough bandwidth, time, resources to get this done. And that's important. Your calendar is not just about sending campaigns, it's about building a better relationship with your customers. So we want to bookmark that so you see every single Saturday we have something in place for our roadmap. Then on the 11th of August, we went back to our campaigns where we focused on the school style guide. Again, perfect timing. We saw last year it worked really well. Want to double down on it, focus this time on different school styles of different price points, under 500, over 1,000, over 5,000, things like that. That was in the 11th, more of a content piece, right? Could be slightly evergreen, but you see we're blending it. It worked last year, double down on it. Then on the 14th, we have a dynamic send, right? Personalized email, summer bestsellers. We think these are great for you. And how we gain that data? Based on what they're looking at over the past 30 days, 90 days, whatever it may be. We want to show items that we think they'll like. And we build trust. We pick these for you. We think you'll love these. That's the summer bestsellers. On the 16th, as I mentioned before, we did our subscription automation, which was on our roadmap. On the 18th, we focused again on another campaign, perfect pairings. Again, last year we saw that the data showed this one did pretty well. We want to double down on it again. Instead of showing pairings for people going back to work, we want to show perfect pairings for people going to school, his and hers, different watches for men, different watches for women, things that could be a good way of taking it to the next level this time. That's on the 18th. On the 21st, we started with another August bestseller, similar to our evergreen campaigns we did for new in August. Now we're going to show the items that are best selling in August, as well as items we think are relevant to the customers that are we have on our list that are in browse mode right now. And then again, on the 23rd, we have our back in stock, another roadmap project. So we see our campaign calendar is pretty full right now. And for the last week of the month, from the 21st through the 1st, from the August 24th through the 1st, we focus all around Labor Day. Last year for Labor Day, they did maybe 2 emails for Labor Day. This time we're doing 5 because it worked so well. There was a great promotion. They had some watches on sale. There was some good offers from their vendors. So we want to double down it. So instead of 2 campaigns on last chance for Labor Day and starts now for Labor Day, we doubled it down, right? We focused on Labor Day early access for our VIPs. Labor Day starts now for the rest of our population. Labor Day going on now with a letter format from our CEO reminding them that there's a Labor Day sale going on. Founder-led email connected to the people, right, on the 28th. On the 30th, we did a blend of a Labor Day sale plus dynamic email showing customers what's the best sellers of Labor Day. And that was amazing. It crushed it because it's personalized and there's an offer, a double winner. And then finally on the 1st, last chance, right? Again, last year, we did just 2. This year, we did 5 because we doubled down on it. Sneak peek into September, we did now September Spotlight, which is similar to new in August, the same type of thing. We just named it something different, but it's the same style. It's an evergreen email showing what's new in September. So that's how you create this campaign calendar that's going to be super replicable, data-driven, right? And it's actually going to be relevant to every single subscriber. It's going to perform a lot better. I can replicate all these campaigns, at least 80% of the campaigns, next month, right? When we have fall style guides and we have CEO picks again, and we have dynamic emails for fall. So many ways to replicate it, and I don't have to start winging it anymore. Now, I want to add another note here. I know you're looking at this calendar and saying, well, Isaac, we still have a few more days open that we can send a campaign, maybe on the 3rd or the 5th, or the 6th, the 12th, 13th, 10th, you name it, there's a spot open to send a campaign. Well, let me remind you of how a healthy email ecosystem works. Number 1, if I was to send a campaign on the 4th, let's say my CEO picks, and I got a good amount of engagement and clicks from that email, right? We got a good amount of traffic from it, and prospects are viewing items, adding to cart, starting checkout, some even placing orders. Well, what I want on the 5th is my flows to follow up from there, because there's a better chance that they will convert from the flows. So the minute I add a campaign on the 5th, it drowns out the follow-up that I want my flows to achieve. That's the magic behind it. When I send a campaign, the best prospects will take an action, and then the flows will follow up on subsequent days. So the way you should be looking at it is simply saying, I'm going to send an email on the 4th, on a Monday. My flows will follow up with my best prospects on the 5th and the 6th. And by the 7th, it's probably dying down. So that's another great time to send a campaign again. Bring up all those high engaged prospects who are going to click engage, view, browse cart, and the flows will follow up again on the 8th, 9th, and 10th. And that's the magic behind it. The campaigns drive traffic to the site, the flows follow up. The minute you start adding too many campaigns to your calendar is the minute you drown out your flows. So that's why this calendar is meant to think about the whole email, SMS, and retention ecosystem, not just mindlessly sending campaigns. That's the delicate dance. That's the balance between it. And that's why this campaign calendar has been crushing it every single time, because we understand the balance that needs to be done between the campaigns and the flows. And if you want to see the results of this is what our clients said. We doubled sales in year 1 from our campaign calendar we implemented. But then again, because we have a scientific approach to creating a campaign calendar and studying what worked really well last year and sunsetting what didn't, we doubled their revenues again this year, which is mind-blowing to them, right? They were shocked. How do we double revenues from $528,000, right, in that time period to $842,000 before we doubled it? Then we doubled it again. It's because we have a scientific proven way of driving campaign revenue. And also because the campaigns are traffic generators, they helped fire up the flows, right? And the flows are the follow-up for our most qualified subscribers and visitors. That's how you create a campaign calendar that's meant to print cash. It's replicable, profitable, and scalable every single month. Let's recap some of the takeaways from this video. Number 1, you want to ditch your failing campaigns, remove the 6 biggest causes of unpredictable campaign revenue, right? You don't want to oversend mailings. You don't want to send more campaigns, right? You don't want to drown out your flows. You don't want to consistently keep selling instead of listening, learning, and connecting the person behind the inbox, right? So you want to ditch that failing campaign mindset. Number 2, you want to plan your campaigns correctly. You want to make sure that you are personalizing every single email. Number 2, you want to focus on planning your campaigns correctly using my 6 ingredients. Number 1, look at what worked last year. Look at your data. Look at what's trending, right? Where the demand really is. Focus on the winners. Double down on them. Sunset the losers. Focus on personalizing emails out there. Add in your evergreen campaigns. Making sure that 80% of your campaigns are actually replicable next month and also profitable and scalable. And then finally, assemble your month, making sure that you're blending your campaigns, flows, and your bigger projects for your email, SMS, retention ecosystem onto your calendar and tackling those big rocks that you need to handle, and not just having a campaign mindset every day where you're constantly sending campaigns and ignoring the flows or ignoring the big projects that will really move the needle for your business. That's how you craft the perfect campaign calendar overall. Those are the takeaways you should have from this video. We just launched our school community, and in that community, I'm dropping my $100 million free 12-month email SMS roadmap. It helps you level up your email SMS plan, break free from the campaign mindset, and start thinking about bigger projects than just sending another campaign. Because if you're stuck sending campaigns all the time, you just burn out. I don't want you to burn out. I don't want your list to burn out. You need a roadmap. You need bigger goals. I'm giving it to you for free. We have a whole video on there and a download. You can get it for free by scanning your QR code and going to our school community. It's called Retention Nation. Check that out. This will help you go from scrambling to scaling this year with our 12-month game plan, tested, built, and proven from the playbooks of the top 1%. I myself built it out, and I know it works because, well, some of the brands I work with went from $47 million to $73 million in 8 months with this roadmap, okay? So definitely get it, scan it, and join the community. So there you have it. When planning out your campaigns, you need to think a lot more scientifically, a lot more strategically. You got to ditch the mindset that's saying sending more campaigns is the way to go. If you're the type of brand that sends 4 campaigns a month without any science or strategy behind it, I'll share with you exactly how you're leaking profits, how you're never going to be able to grow, how you're actually going to maybe win now, but really fail badly later. And I did that myself. I was sending 7 to 10 campaigns a month with bad strategy, convinced to send more emails. When I switched to sending better but fewer emails, I actually made a lot more revenue and we drove a lot more profits. So you want to ditch that campaign mindset of sending more. You want to have more science behind it, more strategy. Look at your past winners, double down on the winners, improve your personalization, add in your evergreen emails, focus on making sure that you're connecting with the person behind the inbox, not just connecting to an inbox. You want to focus on connecting to the person, and that's how you create profitable, replicable, and sustainable and scalable revenue streams for your business every single month. Thanks for joining me in this video. I will see you on the next one.